Okay, today's gospel is Jesus talking about the Good Shepherd. And he says that we all need to be good shepherds, just not our leaders, but all of us in our dealings with other people. And what that means is we're concerned about their well-being. Too often our leaders have stopped being good shepherds, but that doesn't mean that we can't and shouldn't. We ought to be good shepherds to each other, to our family, friends, neighbors. In the second reading, it says, be patient with your suffering. Oh, that's real apt. And then in the very first reading, Peter. Now remember, this is the time after Jesus was killed and buried, and his body is gone, and he may have risen, and what's going to happen, and what's the future, and we don't know anything, and everybody is all up in arms like we are right now. And what does Peter say? He says, do what Jesus taught us to do. Follow Jesus. Jesus is the leader. Okay, as I said a couple of weeks ago, we're in a very similar situation. And what do we have to do? Well, we have to do what Jesus taught us to do. And that is take care of each other, be responsible, sharing and caring and being concerned. Now, one of the things that's happened in the middle of all of this is people are running around throwing blame at everybody. And so who's getting blamed? Well, the Chinese, the World Health Organization. No, it's the immigrants. Oh, no, it's a communist plot. Oh, the far right or the far left, or blame, blame, blame. Well, stop. The big question is, why do bad things happen in our world? That's the question we need to look at instead of running around throwing blame at everybody and ignoring the problem. The problem is that in our world, things happen. Mount St. Helens blew up 50 years ago. Whammo, I mean, what a radical shift in Northwest politics and life for a lot of people. We've had pandemics before. We have had earthquakes. What's happening in the South now with all the hurricanes? Now, why does all this bad stuff happen? Well, it's very simple. When God created us, God, first of all, made us physical human beings. Now, if you're physical, that means you're always in the process of change, development, modification, breaking down, rebuilding. That's the very nature of anything physical. When two atoms come together and bump into each other, they make a third atom. Or maybe they join and become one superatom, but it's always a process of change. Our whole life is a process of change. We're first of all born, and then we slowly grow up and start learning and becoming capable, and then we do all sorts of good stuff, and then we start getting old and falling apart. And then we die. That's the nature of every physical thing there is, whether it's a mountain or a leaf or an ocean. Everything is always in the middle of change. And there isn't necessarily somebody to go blame about it. It happens. Earthquakes happen. The other thing that God did when God created everything was God gave us free will. Now that means that I can do good stuff or I can do bad stuff. I'm free. I'm totally free. God put no limits on that. 2 or 3 books out now about theologians from differing places and differing positions, from Jewish and from Protestant, from Catholic, from Orthodox, all talk about God's unlimited love. He didn't put constraints on it. I'll love you if. He never said that. I'll love you. Oh. There are no conditions on God's love or God giving us free will. If I choose to, I can go out and murder people. We've had that happen. If I choose to, I can go out and feed people. That's happening. I've got a free will. So we've got a pandemic in our world right now, and it's affecting everyone. Everyone. Nobody is accepted, is left out. Everybody is involved in it. And the basic fact is that there are bugs developing, and they're going out and getting together, and those bugs can kill us. That's the physical part of our being. Now, how do we respond to that? Is there perhaps some blame around for not being prepared? Yeah, I'm sure there is. But there's also a lot of blessing around in how people have responded. So we're in the middle of a big mess. Who do we follow? Jesus, the Good Shepherd. The Good Shepherd. And so we're supposed to be like him. That's what his teaching is. That's what Peter is telling us in the gospel, in the first reading from the Acts of the Apostles. Our task is to be like Jesus. And in the middle of this pandemic, to be good shepherds to each other, to take care of, to nurture, to keep safe others, not just ourselves.